What's going on, guys? I am Toxic Jordan. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing a team building guide for the AGL Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku EZA here. So unfortunately, I don't have access to the internet while I'm recording these days, so we are going to have to do this entire video just in Dokkan, but luckily for me, I have basically every unit in the game, so I should be able to show off, all of the best options for these teams. So for this EZA, the type effective category is going to be Target Goku. Now, keeping in mind that it's also an LR EZA, we're going to want to factor in that, any LR is going to be better suited for the team because the Legendary Power Link skill obviously gives you the ability to do a lot more damage. So we're just going to kind of do a brief scroll through, my box here, and I'll maybe point out a few of the best units here, and then I have pre-built some, I've got some interesting team builds that I will show you guys at the end as well. Let's go ahead and go into the character list. That way everything's lit up. There we go. That looks prettier. Okay, so first unit to note is definitely the Dokkan Fest 17 and 17, right? Because they are a 170% Target Goku leader, and then additional 30% to androids. And most of the androids in the game, namely like a lot of the Cell cards and stuff, are actually on Target Goku. So that is going to be very, very helpful for you. You can definitely build a full 200% team with them as the lead. But it's worth noting that this unit themselves is only a TUR, and they also have type disadvantage. So they themselves are not going to be that helpful for the event, but their leader skill is very, very good to build a team with, for sure. So I wanted this guy to be more usable, but unfortunately his nullification is for Ki Blast super attacks, and I don't think you're actually going to see Ki Blast super attacks in that EZA stage, so that is a little bit unfortunate. They're not completely useless because they are a nice support unit, but they definitely, it can't be used to their full potential there. This is also a decent option because they have the high chance to guard, or actually it's a medium chance to guard, so potentially could be a nice unit to add in at like the bottom end of your team, but isn't going to be like one of the best units on the team, right? So we've got this guy who's worth noting, another powerful android character. He's probably going to be a little bit lackluster like turn 1 and stuff, but once you get, once you receive enough attacks with him and he gets his damage reduction built up, he'll still be a pretty solid defensive unit for you. So he could be a decent option there as well. Okay, so this is a pretty powerful LR that you're going to be able to, take advantage of that Legendary Power Link skill. Post-EZA, these guys hit very hard. They're just stats on stats, nothing really more to them than that, right? They would fall under that 200% for the 17 and 17 leader skill if you wanted to use them there. I suppose Tech Hit could be a good option as well. He is only a TUR, but this guy does hit really hard, and he's got some crit chance built into his kit, so he could potentially still do some damage, even as just a TUR, because he also does have type advantage, right? So that could be very helpful for you. But yeah, I just don't think you're going to see many LRs around him if you end up using him on the team, especially if you're trying to do, like, a build that's, like, he's not going to link up with basically anyone, right? Pretty much your only option of linking up someone with him would be, like, the LR Hit and God Goku, because keep in mind, it's an EZA, so you can't use same type units, or same named units, so you can't use any of these other hit cards, to link up with them or anything. Piccolo Junior Giant Form is obviously a behemoth. He would be very good for this, though he's not going to be able to activate his active skill because you'll only be against one enemy. He's type neutral, and he's a TUR. So, we're going to see a lot of the same problems with most of the units in this box here. It's just that there really aren't a ton of powerful LR options for this. That being said, we are coming up to one right now, so the physical LR Metal Cooler is definitely going to be one of the best options for this EZA. Having a 200% Wicked Bloodline leader skill is really good, because there are quite a few Wicked Bloodline units on Target Goku, most of the Cooler cards, and then quite a few of the Frieza cards as well, right? So you can definitely build a full 200% team with Wicked Bloodline that also crosses over into Target Goku. And as it happens, there are quite a few LRs that are available on that team as well. So he is definitely going to be one of the best leaders that you could choose. And then keep in mind that he does have his Revive as well. So if he manages to get KO'd, then that revive will be especially useful in an EZA stage where you can't use items. So we also have the AGL Metal Cooler, who's going to be a really good option, but, you know, again, keep in mind he has the exact same name as the LR, so you'd have to choose between them, which one that you'd want to use, but either way, either one of them would do very, very good, and then, you know, if you don't have the LR, this guy could be a suitable leader for you as well, only giving the 170% to Wicked Bloodline, and then I suppose you could just run the physical LR as the friend lead, right? So yeah, we have all the free-to-play Metal Cooler cards. Those can always be nice add-ins, especially if you're going with a Wicked Bloodline build. Once you've finished out filling out your roster, if you don't quite have a full 6 units that you feel like are confident enough to take this down, then you could just throw on some of these, you know, Metal Cooler units, starting with the Tech one because he'll have type advantage, and then probably the AGL one because he has the dodge chance, so that would be the best defensively for you. And then, you know, moving down the list with the int physical, and then STR last because he'd have type disadvantage. Okay, so we have the int legendary Super Saiyan Broly here. He's another potential leader that you could use. There's lots of planetary destruction and movie bosses on target Goku as well, and then you'd have access to some of these cooler LRs, which is nice. Or I'm sorry, Broly LRs, which would be a good thing. Especially this guy, he can still hit decently hard. Just defensively, he is complete garbage at this point, right? So he would get hit really hard if he got hit with like a super attack or something, but he does have type advantage. So yeah, he could do very, very well linked up with another Broly on the team. You could definitely see a lot of damage out of him. So another strong Wicked Bloodline unit that we've got here is the Final Form Cooler. Obviously another potential leader that you could use with the Terrifying Conqueror's movie boss leader skill, and then you could definitely see a lot of units on the 200% lead with the transformation boost. The only problem with this guy is that he does have type disadvantage, right? So while he dishes out a lot of attacks and he gives you a lot of critical hits and stuff, he'll definitely do some damage even with type disadvantage, but he is certainly not going to defend well, especially like turn 1 before you get a lot of his stats built up or his defense built up. He could be kind of a liability for you. So especially if you are choosing to use him as a leader, that could be really, really dangerous to have 2 of him on the team, right? Okay, so we've got the Int LR Cell here. This is another possible leader that you could use. Android Cell Saga is certainly going to be a usable, a usable category here because there are so many androids, right? And then even if you can't fill up a full team of that, you could just take any of the extreme int cards and throw them on here. So like the Piccolo Jr. Giant Form or the Dokkan Fest Super Saiyan Broly. You know, any of those units you could throw on here because they will technically be on the leader skill. They'd just be getting a little bit less of a buff, which isn't too big of a deal, right? Okay, so then we have the AGL Golden Frieza here. In fact, we have multiple Golden Frieza cards because we've got, you know, the LR AGL Golden Frieza, and then we have both of the TUR Golden Friezas as well. All 3 of them would be really good options for this because they're going to be amazing tanks for you. Any one of them would tank amazingly well, but obviously the LR is going to be the best option because he inherently does more damage than the TURs will. Much more damage, and then also because he's an LR, if you manage to get Legendary Power active, he's going to be doing even more damage on top of that, right? So I suppose this guy is not a bad shout to mention here. I know a lot of people won't have this unit because he's one of the 50% supports that's basically unattainable at this point. But he is, you know, a 50% support to tech units. So if you're running a lot of tech androids and stuff, then he could be a really good option for this EZA stage as well. He probably won't be dishing out much damage, but giving you, you know, the orb changing for, you know, tech orbs could be good to give you some additional healing and stuff. And then if you have a bunch of cell cards, then his links could be very, very advantageous for you as well. So that could be a decent unit to have around. I suppose this guy could be a good option as well if you manage to get his guard active. If you have an Android Cell Saga team, then he's guaranteed to have his guard active, so he'll defend really well, but obviously he's not going to be doing any damage as a TUR. Okay, and then bringing up the rear here, we've got a few left. So we have the Transforming First Form Cell here. Another leader option for you with Android Cell Saga and Power Absorption as his leader skill. Very, very usable leader skill there. But again, he's a TUR, so he won't do that much damage for you. But he does have a decent amount of evasion built into his kit, so he's still probably dependable defensively. It could be a reliable unit. I'd say it's worth having 2 of him on the team as your leader there. And then we've got the First Form Cell, the Prime Battle First Form Cell. After EZA, this guy's an absolute monster, and because he is an LR and has type advantage, he's going to be one of the absolute best units for this EZA for sure, especially because he is giving some HP recovery on his super attack effect, which is nice, you know, again, for an EZA stage where you can't use items. Any bit of HP that you can pull back is very nice. And then the very last unit that we've got to go over here is the Transforming Frieza. So as a tech unit, will be very, very good for this. Probably will tank decently, and, you know, provide some healing as well. But definitely isn't going to do too much damage as he is only a TUR. So let's go ahead and jump into my team tab, and I'll show you guys some of the teams I put together. So this would be an example of just kind of a generic... this is a team this is like my meme team that I like to run. So I always like to build a team full of TURs that doesn't use any LRs, because I like to, you know, give the constant shout to the community that you don't necessarily need LRs to, you know, to defeat these LR EZAs. And I do like to prove that by going on, you know, defeating stage 10 of each of these EZAs with a full TUR team. So this is probably the team that I'm going to do that with. I may rotate 1 or 2 of these units off for... you know, one of the cheat units, like the tech Android 17 and 18, who would actually be on the leader skill and have type advantage, so even though they're not on target Goku, they might actually be able to do some damage, but obviously they would mainly only be around for their active skill to give us the free Ghost Usher turn and stuff. But then we could also throw Tech Caulifla on the team if we wanted to, because we are facing off against a pure Saiyan, so she is going to have a 100% chance to dodge the entire time, making her inherently the best defensive unit that you could possibly choose, right? So as far as real teams go, this would be the first example here. So we have a full 200% Wicked Bloodline build, mostly LRs. As you can see there, we do have 2 STR units on here, so that isn't going to be the best as far as defensively. You know, so you could definitely switch those off for some stronger Wicked Bloodline units that are only TURs. Like I had mentioned before, any of the free-to-play Metal Cooler cards would be perfectly fine to sub in here. As well as the Tech Transforming Frieza could be a good idea, too. Okay, so this is a Movie Bosses Planetary Destruction team. This one actually looks really, really powerful. You've got lots of good LRs here. You're not dealing with any type disadvantage. You've got quite a few Frieza cards that are going to be able to link up well together. You have the Revive with the Metal Cooler. You have the potential... like transformation with the Cell if you manage to get low on HP, and then you'll get the full heal that way. So yeah, there are some very, very good options here. And then, you know, you have the Tech Broly that's going to dish out a ton of damage, and then if you're able to get his active skill off too, then you could see a really, really powerful turn there. So yeah, this is probably one of the better teams, surprisingly, I think, one of the better teams that you could run. Just as far as consistency, right? And being able to depend on jumping into the stage and knowing you're not going to die. Okay, and then the last team build that we've got here is an Android Cell Saga build. So it's worth noting that the tech androids down here at the bottom are not actually on the target Goku category, so keep that in mind. But they are on this leader skill, right? So as we were just talking about, they will be able to dish out quite a bit of damage here, and this would be a pretty strong defensive build, I imagine, and you would have 4 out of 7 units being LRs. That's definitely not bad. You'd have to get kind of unlucky to not be able to see that legendary power link skill active a few times. So yeah, this could be a very, very good team build as well. So yeah, I think that is basically everything that I have for this EZA for you guys. This shouldn't be too difficult of a one. I don't imagine is going to be very hard, as it is coming out during the anniversary. And usually when they release anniversary content, other than like the challenge events and things like that, right? They generally scale the difficulty down a little bit just to make sure that any players that are newer toward the anniversary and stuff have the ability to compete with the content, right? So I don't imagine that these are going to be the most difficult of EZAs. I'm pretty sure that you should be able to get this done with any generic target Goku build, but as long as you have one of the, you know, random target Goku leaders, then you can run any and all of these units, and you should be perfectly good to go. But it's definitely worth noting that the tech androids are usable here. because they're usable in, right, any single EZA stage because of their free Ghost Usher active skill on turn 1, or the first turn that they're around. And then Tech Caulifla will be another sub-in unit, so if you can't make a full team of 6, just throw Tech Caulifla on there, because she'll have guaranteed dodge against the Pure Saiyan. And then technically, you can use the Tech God Goku as well, because he'll have his 70% damage reduction against, against a Pure Saiyan, and he also has type advantage. So I think even not on a leader skill, he will still actually perform decently. So he could be another decent option to throw around as well, if you're running out of options for units. All right. Well, I think that is all I have for you guys in this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to check out the Discord, link in description. That's going to do it for this one, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.